Hello dear student, I Professor Mrunal Santosh Ugle, Assistant Professor in Civil Engineering Department. So today we are going to discuss about the contouring under the subject of surveying. So in that the course outcomes are define and explain the basics of contouring and differentiate the instrument used for it. Then second, express proficiency in the handling surveying equipment and analyze the surveying data from these equipments. And third, describe the different methods of surveying and find the relative position of points on the surface of Earth. So the content of the today's discussions are definition of the contours, characteristics of the contours, in that about 12 characteristics are there. Then methods of contouring, in that two methods are there, which is direct contouring and indirect contouring. Then next point, interpolation of contours, and last point, which is the use of contour maps. So let us start with the contouring. Basically, the contouring is the process of tracing the contour lines on the surface of the earth is called as contouring. So basically, this total station or the 20-second vernier theodolite, which is used to trace out the contour lines. So here this is the diagram shows these are the lines which is having the equal elevation, and joining this line is nothing but the contour line, and this line is nothing but the contour line, and the surveying which is done which is nothing but the contour surveying. So let us start with the definition of contour. So basically, an imaginary line on the ground surface joining the points of equal elevation is known as contour. So in the other word, contour is a line in which the ground surface is intersected by level surface obtained by joining points of equal elevation. So these lines on the map represents a contour and is called as contour line. A map showing contour line is known as contour map. Then here the diagram shows the sectional view of one area which having the level is 2000 meter, 1000 meter with the ground level, is it right? And here this is the cross sectional view, and this is the top view of that area, and this figure indicates the reduced level of that line. Then next point, which is the contour interval. So basically, the vertical distance between the two successive contours is known as contour interval. It is remain constant for a given map. The difference in RLs of a two contour gives the contour interval. So here one sectional view of the river is given, and here this line indicates the level surface, and these figures are nothing but the reduced level of that surface. So here 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, these are the reduced level of that surface, and here this is the symbol of ground level. Here this 1 meter is the ground interval. So basically, this ground interval is remain constant for a given map. A variable contour interval is as far as possible avoided, since it gives a false impression of relative stiffness of the ground in different parts of the map. Usually ground interval are taken as 1 to 15 meter. The smaller the contour interval, the more precisely the terrain relief is delineated on the plane. So the contour interval is depends on the following factors. Basically, about 5 factors are there. In that, number 1, scale of the map, then purpose of the map, then nature of country, time, and funds. So let us start with the first, which is the scale of map. Contour interval is inversely proportional to the scale of map. So depend on the nature of the ground, the scale of the map is different. We can calculate the contour interval with the help of this formula, which is contour interval, which is equal to 25 divided by number of centimeter per kilometer. Then next factor is there, which is the purpose of map. So the contour interval is kept large up to 2 meter for projects such as highways and railways, whereas it is kept as small as 0.5 meter for measurement of earthwork, building site, dams, etc. For a city survey, a contour interval of 0.5 meter may be adopted, and for more extended surveys such as geological survey, a contour interval of usually 6 to 15 meter is adopted. Then third factor, which is the nature of country. So the contour interval varies with the topography of the area. It is large for steep ground and small for flat grounds. Then next factor, which is time. Contour interval is kept large when the time is less. Then fifth, funds. Contour interval is kept large when the funds are short and limited. So this is all about the contour interval. Then generally these are the common values of contour interval. So for the larger scale, the map of flat ground for building site, for detailed design work, and for calculation of quantities of earthwork, we can consider 0.2 to 0.5 meter. Then second, for reservoir and town planning scheme, we consider the scale 0.5 to 2 meter. Then third, for location survey, we can consider the scale which is 2 to 3 meter. And fourth, for small scale maps of broken country and general topographic work, we consider 3 meter, 5 meter, 10 meter, or 25 meter. Then next term, which is the horizontal equivalent. So basically the horizontal distance between the two successive contour is known as horizontal equivalent. So it is not a constant for a given map. It varies according to the stiffness of ground. So see here in this figure, it is the one land is shown. In that these are the contour lines, and the distance between these two successive contour line is nothing but the horizontal equivalent. So these 97, 98, 99 and 100, these are the reduced level of that points. So it is not a constant value and varies from point to point depending upon the steepness of ground. Steeper the ground, lesser is the horizontal equivalent. The horizontal equivalent between the 2 points can be estimated by dividing the contour interval with the gradient between the points of intersect. For example, if the contour interval is equal to 1 meter, gradient is 1 in 20, and the horizontal equivalent, which is equal to 1 divided by 1 by 20, which is equal to 20 meter. So this is the contour horizontal equivalent. Then next, which is the contour gradient. So basically the contour gradient is a line laying throughout on a surface of ground and preserving a constant inclination to the horizontal. If the inclination of such line is given, its direction from a point may be easily located either on the map or on the ground. So here one picture is shown. In that the sectional view of a ground is there, and the successive ground gradient is there. So according to that we can fix the ground gradient grade of the contour. Then next, use of the contour map. So basically contours provide the valuable information about the nature of terrain, whereas it is flat, undulating or mountainous. Then next, we know the nature of ground. To visualize the nature of ground along a cross sectional of the interest. Then to locate the route of any line, any alignment, that is road alignment, highway alignment, dam, etc. Then to know the visibility between the stations. Then to determine the catchment area or the drainage area of any reservoir. Then calculate the storage capacity of a reservoir, and then to plot the contour map may be used to determine the quantities of earthwork. Then next, with the help of this contour map, proper and precise location of engineering works such as road, canal, etc. can be decided. Then next, application in the location of water supply, water distribution, and to solve the problems of stream pollutions. Then to select the site for new industrial plants. Then to estimate the quantities of cutting, filling, and capacity of reservoir. So these are the few uses of this contour map. So let us start with the characteristics of contour. So basically about 12 characteristics are there. In that, number 1, all points in a contour line have the same elevation. Then second, flat ground is indicated where the contours are widely separated and steep slope where they run close together. So here in this picture it shows that the nature of the ground. When these contour lines are close to each other, at that time you will get the idea about the nature of the ground. When these closer to each other, at that time steep slope is there, and when the gentle slope is there, the nature of the ground contour line is shown in this figure. Then next characteristics, which is a uniform slope, is indicated when the contour lines are uniformly spaced. So here the picture is shows the uniformly spaced line. These are the reduced level of that lines. Then next characteristics, which is the plane surface where they are straight, parallel, and equal space. So here from this you will get the idea about the nature of the ground. So according to this is the plane surface. When you will get this type of contour lines, so that you will get the idea about the ground, which is plane surface. Then next characteristics, which is a series of close contour line on on the map represent a hill if the highest values are inside. So see here in this picture it shows that here the sectional view of the one hill is there, and here the plan of that hill is there. So according to that, here when the series of close contour lines on the map represent a hill if the highest value are inside. So see here, according to that, when we consider the baseline which is here and the reduced level of the points are increasing, the values are increasing. So according to that you will get the highest value at the top, which is here. So here in this figure the 80 meter is the highest value, which is nothing but the height of that hill, is it? So this is the one characteristics of contour. Then in the next characteristics of contour, next characteristics, which is the series of close contour lines on a map indicate a depression if the highest value are outside. So see here in this diagram the sectional view of a one valley is there. According to that, here the baseline, which is the x-axis, and here it is the y-axis. So according to that, the reduced level of the points which is in the decreasing direction. So according to that, here you will get the plan of that valley, which is in terms of contour line, and at that time the smallest value, which is the inside, and the largest value, which is the outside. So this is also the one characteristics of a contour. Then next characteristics, which is the contour lines cannot merge or cross one another on map except in the case of an overhanging cliff. So see here one cross-sectional view of the cliff is there. So according to that you will get the nature of the contour lines like that, and here this point is nothing but the overhanging cliff, where this is the overhanging point is there, so that you will get the contour map which is shown in diagram. Then next characteristics, which is the contour lines are never turned into one another except in the case of vertical cliff. In this case, the several contours coincide and the horizontal equivalent becomes 0. Then next characteristics, which is the depression between the summits, is called as saddle. So it is represented by four sets of a contour as shown in figure. So it represents a dip in a ridge or the junction of two ridges. So see here, these are the contour lines, and here the figure shows the reduced level of that contour line. So this is the saddle. Then next point is there, which is the method of contouring. So in that method of contouring, basically two methods are there, which is direct method and indirect method. Again, indirect method is divided into three methods, which is the by square method, by cross-sectional method, and by tucker method. So contour can be drawn in horizontal and vertical measurements of properly selected points are given. The field work can be executed in the various ways owing to the availability and use of the variety of instruments. Broadly, the methods can be divided into direct and indirect ones. In the direct method of contouring, the reduced level of various selected points on the contour line are obtained and their positions are located. The contours are then drawn by joining the points. It is a very accurate method, but it is very tedious and time consuming. And the indirect method are those in which the points are selected at random, the positions and the elevation of which are not necessarily located on a contour line. The position and reduced levels of all such points are then determined. Thereafter, contours are drawn by interpolation. Usually, the indirect method of contouring are preferred as they are not that tedious and less time consuming. Although not as accurate as the direct method, it is a general practice to obtain for indirect method so as to increase the number of contours rather than consume more time and obtain fewer contours which are difficult to interpret. So first one, which is the direct method. So in that direct method, so see here, here one survey map is shown. Here we have to place the instrument station. So we can use the total station or the 20-second vernier transit theodolite. So we have to place that instrument station here, and according to that mark these radial lines with a definite interval. So you can consider 30 degree 30 degree or 45 degree 45 degree, like that you have to cover the whole hilly area. Then at a regular interval on that line you can mark nodal points along which reading are taken. Then these lines are nothing but the contour line which having the same reduced level. So according to that you will get the reduced level and the nature of the ground. So the fieldwork in the contouring consists of horizontal and vertical controls. The horizontal controls for a small area can be exercised by chain or tape and by compass, theodolite or plane table for large area. For vertical contour, either a level and staff or a hand level may be used. So this is all about the direct method. So basically in this method the contour to be located are directly traced out in the field by locating and marking a number of points on each contour. So these points are then surveyed and plotted on plan and the contours drawn through them. So this is all about the direct method. Then next method is there, which is the indirect method. So in this method the points located and surveyed are not necessarily on the contour lines, but the stock level are taken along the series of lines laid out over the area. The spot level of the several representative points representing hills, depression, ridge and valley lines, and the changes in the slope all over the area to be contoured are also observed. Their position are then plotted on the plan and contours drawn by interpolation. So this method of contouring is known as contouring by spot levels. So this is the indirect method. So you know that basically 3 to 4 subtypes are there. So in that first, which is the method of square. So this also called as coordinate method of locating contours. The entire area is divided into the square or the rectangles, which is shown in the figure. So the elevation of the corners are then determined by spirit leveling. Thereafter the levels are interpolated. So this method is very suitable for a small open area where contours are required at a close vertical interval. So according to that we can plot the contour here. These are the corners. We will get the numbering to that corners, and with the help of that we can calculate the reduced level at that each corner, and with the help of this we can easily interpolate the contour line. So this is the first method, which is the by square method. Then second method, which is the method of cross section. So in this method transit transfer is run. Then suitably spaced section are projected from transverse lines. The observation are made in the usual manner with a 11 clinometer or the theodolite at a point on these transverse lines. The contours are then interpolated. So this method is suitable for road, railways and canal surveys. So here one diagram is shown. So according to that we can plot the contour map. Then third method is there, which is the by tachymetric method. So in that tachymetric method, which is particularly suitable for the hilly area and at a place where the plane tabling is impracticable. Then for all reconnaissance of the area is done and network of transfers is arranged in such a way that the entire area can be covered. The transfer section are so chosen that large vertical angles, particularly for long sight, are avoided. From these transfer stations, a number of radial lines are drawn at some angular interval depending upon the nature of the country. A tachymeter fitted with an analytical lens is placed on the transfer station. The observation corresponding to the cross wires, stadia wires and the vertical angles are carried out on all the control station and on the points of details. The elevation and the distance are then calculated, and from the observed data contours are interpolated. So this is all about the tachymetric method. So next point is there, which is the difference between direct and indirect method of contouring. So in that direct method, direct method is very accurate but slow and tedious. Then indirect method, which is not very accurate but quicker and less tedious. Then second point, which is the direct method is expensive and indirect method is reasonable cost, which is the cheaper. Then next point, which is direct method is appropriate for the small project which is high accuracy, that is layout of building, factory structure, foundation, etc. And in case of indirect method, it is suitable for large projects requiring moderate to low accuracy, that is layout of highway, railway, canals, etc. The next point, direct method is more suitable for low undulating terrain, and in case of indirect method, which is suitable for the hilly terrain. Then next, in case of direct method, calculation need to be carried out in the field, and in case of indirect method the calculation in the field is not mandatory. Means we can calculate and check out when it is required. Then sixth point, in case of direct method after the contouring calculation cannot be checked, and in case of indirect method we can check all the calculation when it is needed. So this is all about the difference between the direct method and the indirect method. So next point is there, which is the interpolation of contour. So basically the process of drawing contour lines by inferring the plane position and tents from spot level or from other contours with wider interval is known as contour interpolation. So it is presumed that the intervening ground has uniform slope. So in that 2 to 3 methods are there. So in that, number 1, by estimation. So in that the position of the contour points between ground points are estimated roughly and contour are then drawn through these points. So this is a rough method and is suitable for small scale maps. And the second method, which is the by arithmetic calculation. So this method is used when the high accuracy is required and the scale of map is intermediate or large. In this method the distance between the 2 points of known elevation are accurately measured. Then with the help of arithmetic calculation the position of the required elevation point are computed. So here next, which is the by arithmetic calculation. So here one example is there. According to that we can give the numbering to each corner points, and we have to divide the total area into the smaller squares. So here with the help of this benchmark, which is considered as 100 meter, so according to that we can calculate the reduced level of each corner point. So now consider here ADMP is a surveyed plot, then whole area is divided into number of square and reduced level are plotted at every spot. Then if the required contour is 89 meter, then consider the small square, which is the ABGH. So here according to this small part of the terrain we consider this ABGH. So according to the observation here, this vertical distance is 5 meter as well as this horizontal distance is 5 meter, and according to the observation we have to plot the 89 meter contour in between these two ABGH square. So how to plot? So here the calculations are there. Basically here the horizontal distance is 5 meter and this 90.555 and 88.420, this is the elevation, and the horizontal distance is known, which is the 5 meter, and this is 90.895 and 88.420. So here we have to plot the 89 meter reduced level. So here we consider the x distance from point A, and here the remaining distance is 5 minus x. Similarly in the second part, which is the 88.420 and 90.895, here the vertical distance is we have to calculate. So according to this calculation we know the vertical distance, which is the 2.475. So how to calculate the position of this contour line which having the reduced level is 89 meter? So we consider the difference in elevation between A and B, which is 90.895 minus 88.420, which is equal to 2.475 meter in a distance of 5 meter. Then by similar triangle method, the 0.58 divided by x, this 0.58 divided by x, which is equal to 2.475 divided by 5. So according to that you will get the x distance, which is 1.17 meter from A point. Similarly of point A and H, which is 0.58 divided by x, which is equal to 2.135 divided by 5. So you will get the distance x, which is equal to 1.358 meter from point A. Then we can plot the 89 meter contour by the scale. So this is all about the arithmetic calculation. Then last point, which is the application of contour map. So we can determine the intervisibility of a point. Then we can easily calculate the drainage area. Then next, capacity of reservoir, then site structure, and last one, which is the earthwork estimation. So with the help of this application, we conclude the today's session with this contouring. Basically, we discuss the purpose of contouring, which is for preparing the contour map in order to select the most economical or suitable site, then to locate the alignment of a canal so that it should follow a ridge line, then to mark the alignment of roads and railways so that the quantity of the earthwork both in cutting and filling should be minimum, then for getting information about the ground, whether it is flat, undulating or the mountainous, and to locate the physical feature of the ground such as ponds, depression, hill, steep, small slopes. So with the help of this, today we are conclude with today's discussion. So in that we discuss the definition of contours, characteristics of contour, then method of contouring, purpose of contouring, interpolation of contour, and use of contour map. So thank you all of you. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.